Remember that movie with Mandy Moore, A Walk to Remember,
Oh
and
my
Shane
God.
West?
Oh,
Right?
I'm like,
I rem
I was like, I love that movie.
what?
I love that. That's like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'll always remember. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm just like, I love that movie.
The Young Entertainment Podcast. The Young
Okay, let's
Entertainment
jump in. Let's do
Podcast.
this. So this is the Young Entertainment Podcast. I'm Daniella,
And I'm Mordechai.
and we are here to chat about all things young entertainment. We like to say we are your BFFs in young entertainment. Speaking of young entertainment, Mordecai, you just had an epic Disney weekend. Tell us all about it.
Oh my God. Yes. So, okay. So I went to Disney. I needed a vacation. So, like, I went to Disney as like a just fun person, not for work or anything. And I totally forgot, like, when I planned the trip that it was like Super Bowl weekend. So, when I got there, so after it was the winner, like after the Super Bowl was over and they won, I was there like when, oh my God, now I'm blanking on his name. The
We're not a sports podcast.
Yeah, we're
It's
not
okay.
a sports podcast, but the guy who was MVP, he won. He was there walking with Mickey and Goofy in Magic Kingdom the next day, Monday at like 2:30. It was like it was pretty cool. I mean, like, even like the whole thing lasted like 5 to 15 minutes, but it was like it was just like it was so cool to like see, to be a part of it and just like be a part of the magic of like what makes like our, like, I guess our country, because like everyone, I mean, like, we like all watched the Super Bowl. I mean, I didn't watch it because I was in Disney, but like besides for that, like obviously, like it's just like an American sport that we all love. So, and being in Disney and like being able to like be a part of that part of it was like really cool because it's something I've never experienced before, and like, I love first, so for me it was like a first, so it's so great.
I
um
love that. I
yeah.
I love that so much, and that I wouldn't know the name of him either, of the sports guy, is what you like to call him. I'm texting Jake right now because my dog literally just opened my door and walked right in. Now the door is open, so I don't out. He just pushed the door open. So,
Oh my goodness.
that's a first for me. That's my first. My dog just opening a door and walking right in. But that sounds so fun. So while you were at Disney World, I was actually at Disneyland. But what was crazy was I feel like you had this beautiful sunny weather, and then meanwhile at Disneyland it was pouring rain, like
Oh
torrential
no.
downpour. It was so insane. They had to shut down the roller coaster, like the California Screamin', the big roller coaster at California Adventure.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while, but yeah, I think so.
Well, it was crazy because we were about to go on it, and then they shut it down.
Oh, I hate
And
that.
I know. And like 10 minutes later, we turn around and it's literally stuck like up on the roller coaster, and they're exiting people from the top of the roller
What?
coaster. Yes. And I was like, oh, thank God I did not go on there, because I would be tripping out so hard if I had to like exit down. It looked so terrifying. I don't know if it actually broke or if it just they stopped it because the rain. I don't know. But I was like, oh, thank God I didn't get on it, because I'd be so freaked out having to like scale down the side of a roller coaster.
Oh my
gosh.
God. That's like did they do that?
Yeah, we watched. We were just like, our mouths were like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy and scary looking. But I hope that those people got like free tickets to Disneyland
I
or
was gonna
something.
say, yeah, I hope they got free tickets. That's insane. Oh my
I
God.
know.
Well, by
So
me, on Monday, so like when I was there, when they had like after the parade, I think at like around 6:30, I was there the day that like all the rides were like all of a sudden glitched out. And like they stopped,
I
like
didn't
they
know about that.
stopped. Yeah, it started at like 6:30 and it went like till the end of the day. And basically, like they, you couldn't go on the rides. It was like I mean, thank God I got to go on Tiana for the first time. I was like very excited about that. I got to go on What was the other one that I went on that I've never been on? Oh, Tron. Actually, Tron was actually still working, but all the other ones were like, they were just shut down. Everyone was like waiting online, just like standing there, and it was shut down. And like, if you look back on that day, it was like a first for Disney. And I was like, oh, another first, but why do I want to be a part of this one?
A first that I don't want to be part of. Oh my gosh, I didn't know about that. That is so crazy. You know what actually is my favorite roller coaster I've ever been on was I don't remember what it was called, but it's the roller coaster at Epcot, and it was brand new when I went a year ago or a
Is
year
it
and a half
Guardians
ago.
of the Galaxy?
Yes, I think that's what it was.
Oh my
And
God, it was so good.
when you're on it, it feels like a space mountain, but like
Brand
the
new.
best version of it. Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's like a brand new Space Mountain, but totally.
so much fun, and it spins 360 like while you're on the roller coaster. Oh my God, I love that ride. I wish I could go on all day, but when we were there, they only let you go on it one time because it was such a hot ride. So it was kind of sad.
Oh, so you want to hear something crazy? So today was the first day they took away the virtual queue for Tiana and Guardians of the Galaxy. So now you could do standby. So you could actually wait on a line. You don't have to like go and wait like your turn or whatever. Like there was like a number from 0 to 100 or whatever. Now you actually could go on the ride, which was like so exciting because like in the morning people were like posting on social media like, oh, it's now a 70-minute wait. Oh, now it's 160 minutes. It was like so crazy.
Oh my gosh. No, that's really cool. It makes me want to go back. And also, since it was raining the whole time we're at Disneyland, I'm like, I am ready to go back anyway. Like right now, like I
know,
can go
me
back
too.
tomorrow.
I know,
But,
same. I'm like so ready.
We just went and we're already ready. Speaking of Disney, Descendants 5 got announced today. Let's chat about it. Tell me everything.
I'm just like so excited for Liamani because we like interviewed her so many times that I'm like obsessed. I mean, obviously like we interviewed Kylie and Malia, but Liamani we interviewed like so far back, and she's just been like such a supporter, and we just love, so it's like so amazing to like see that she's like this next step for her, which is like so exciting for me because it's like, we have these like connections and all this stuff, and obviously High School Musical, the musical, the series. So just like,
Yeah.
I mean, Kylie was on High School Musical, the series as well, but Liamani was there for 2 seasons. It's just exciting because like Disney, just Disney.
I'm so excited. And also you said so many like behind the scenes things right in that like one sentence. So yes, we've interviewed Liamani so many times, and she is such a sweetheart. I will never forget when she pulled out, remember that like long scroll that the director of High School Musical, the musical,
Tim
the series?
Federle, yeah.
Yes,
He gave everyone like a
Mhm.
graduation like diploma or whatever with like right. What was it?
Yeah, with all the cast did like handwritten notes to each other, like a yearbook kind of like writing each other the sweetest little notes on this, diploma looking scroll thing. And I remember when she pulled it out, like we were talking and she's like, wait, can I go get it for you? And she like looked around in her room and found it and showed it to us. And that was such a cool moment. And then also interviewing Kylie Cantrell, and she had so many fun behind the scenes moments that she shared, but specifically for High School Musical, the series, she had a scene that got cut, right? Like her intro scene. Remember that?
Yeah, she told us that. That was wild. I was just like, wait, there's another Joshua Bassett scene that was not aired.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
And she told us all about it. It was so cool. But yeah, okay, so Descendants 5 officially announced, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of them are going on tour now to like do like a thing with like the Monsters cast. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but like it looks interesting. I hope to get a ticket and go. Got to get on that.
Like a live show?
Yeah, they're doing like a live show. I guess like kind of like, didn't High School Musical do something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so speaking of Descendants 5, what else have you been watching, or what have you been watching?
Oh, that's a good question. So I actually, this is funny. I've actually been I rewatched all the Toy Stories. randomly.
What?
Yeah.
Why? What inspired that?
I guess because I went to Disney and I was just like, I went to Toy Story World and I was just kind of like inspired. I was like, oh, this brings me back to my childhood of like Andy and
Yeah.
his toys. And I was like, because like in Disney World, like they're in Toy Story Land. I don't know if anyone notices this, but if you look down, there's like a print. And basically what it is, it's Andy's footprint. It like not foot, but it's a shoe print. And so like you're the toy and Andy's like there like stepping in the mud or whatever. And so it's just kind of like, oh, I need to go rewatch it now. I need to like go back to my childhood and be like, you know, and it was just
That's so creative that they did that.
yeah, it was really
I
cool.
love. So what's one thing that you noticed like being an adult and watching it back now? Because I feel like the experience when you watch a movie younger is so different when you rewatch it back when you're older. What's like one thing that stood out to you? Or like, oh my gosh, I definitely did not catch that when I was younger.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Trying to think. What is something that I didn't notice before? I'm not sure.
What was there any like new takeaways?
I think it went faster than I remember it. I think as a kid, like you're watching it, like the movie feels like this like really like epic, like long, which it is, but like
Yeah.
it feels so much longer and so much like more story. And then like watching it as an adult, it's like it seems it's so simple, you know, but like
Yeah.
but yet like not. And
Yeah.
it's so great. And it was just like, and watching it back is just kind of like this time capsule, I guess, of where I was at that point in my life. So it was really cool to
Yeah.
be able to watch that back.
It's so nostalgic. Like when it kind of takes you back to that feeling, like you said, a time capsule when you rewatch something that you watched in your childhood. I'll never forget when I rewatched, remember that movie with Mandy Moore, A Walk to Remember, and
Oh my
Shane
God.
West?
Right?
I
was like, I love that movie.
What?
I love that. That's like, oh my God, oh my God. I'll always remember. Oh my God, sorry. I'm just like, I love that movie.
But it's so funny because watching that movie back, it's still such a good movie, but there's so many little nuances that were off that I did not catch when I was younger. Like I'll never forget. Was it him that had the scar on his forehead or something happened? He got in an accident. Someone got in an accident. It was either Mandy Moore or Shane West. I think it was Shane West. And there was like a scar. And I remember like the continuity was off. And so in one scene, he'd have the scar and then the next he wouldn't. And then the next scene, he'd have the gouge again. And then the next scene, he wouldn't. And I just felt like there was a couple like things like that I realized when I was older, like watching back. Because when you're younger, like you said, everything seems so much bigger, so much more grand, so much more perfect. And then when you watch it when you're older, you're like, oh, it's still great. It's more simple.
Totally. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That movie, I think that was one of the first times is like the song really had such an impact, you know?
Yes.
When she does and in the play and she's like singing and oh my God, I'm gonna cry again. It's so good. It just like it brings me back, like it's I think that was like one of the things that made me really want to like learn more about like film was like movies
Really?
like that where like that
Yeah.
had that made you feel something, you know?
Oh, yeah, it totally did. And I think it was like a baseline for the iconic kind of movies of that era where it was like the bad boy turning into a good boy. Like, you know what I'm talking about, for like the right reason, or the bad boy turning into like the Prince Charming, I guess I should say, for, you know, the damsel in distress, the main character. And I think, yeah, it was such like a blueprint, I think, for so many movies that came after that. Okay, something I've been watching, but on reruns like crazy, is Emily in Paris. I feel like I could watch that show over and over again.
That's a cute show. That's a good one.
It's such a good one. Yeah.
No, I'm upset. I actually love where it went in the finale. I'm obsessed.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to see where it goes. And also for anyone out there who's an Emily in Paris fan, you have to go onto YouTube and search like their season. What are we on? What season are we on?
6, maybe?
Oh
no,
my gosh.
4?
No, let me see. The behind the scenes that they released, I think I sent it to you. I was like awestruck by hold on, let me see how many seasons. Season 4. It feels like there's more. Okay, so I was so awestruck. So they originally, like when they started filming Emily in Paris, this is such like good behind the scenes. They were actually filming at like different restaurants in Paris and different like locations. And then the show blew up and got so big that they had to take those locations and rebuild them inside a soundstage in
no
Paris.
Way.
Yes, and it's so cool to see because like Gabrielle's restaurant, like now that restaurant is inside a soundstage, but like what they were talking about that they would do is now like the scenes when they walk outside and they're standing outside of the restaurant, they actually have to go to that physical restaurant in Paris and film outside, so they will split up filming because the other part of that scene inside the restaurant, they obviously film inside the soundstage. And so they were saying how it was a little bit more of a challenge to film this season because they would basically have to split filming the scene into different sections because part of it was filmed in the soundstage, part of it was filmed at the actual restaurant outside. And I was like, that is so interesting. I think it was the actor who plays Gabrielle was saying like you really have to get back into that headspace for when you filmed the first part of the scene, because it's like a whole different day and everything. And your hair has to match, obviously, your wardrobe has to match, but I thought that was so interesting.
No, it's so cool. I love when they do like on location and the soundstage is like mimics it, you know? And it's funny because it's like you're seeing like when you're inside and you're looking out, like you see the outside, but like it's not really there. And it's like so cool that like they could actually like rebuild that inside and like and then you have to go out like somewhere else on another day outside. I mean, I love, I mean, I think that's so cool.
So fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. I went on a set. I went years ago. I went to the Switched at Birth set. And do you remember that show? Yeah. So
that's so cool.
yeah, that was those and the way they like they filmed inside a soundstage, but like they had where it looked like it was daylight. Like it was so bright. Like I was in the house and I thought like it was like outside, but it was really just like a lot. Like where there were just emptiness. It was just like, it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was just lights.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they can recreate like outside, inside.
Totally.
I'll never forget going to, I think it's like my 13th birthday. We went to the Disney Channel studios and saw the live taping of Sweet Life and Zach and Cody. And oh my gosh, it was just so much fun. And that was really cool because that was like a real sitcom where you have a real audience, right? And like the laugh track and everything is really an audience. And it's just so fun. And it's funny because like it's always so much smaller in person. Everything looks so much bigger on screen, which is very fascinating. Like the Emily in Paris BTS, when they were talking about Emily and Mindy's apartment, they were saying how it is so tiny to film in. Like you're on top of each other. It's like nearly impossible to film in. But on camera, everything looks bigger, which is so funny.
Yeah, because I mean, because they need to put the boom and the which is the mic and whatever, and then and the lights and the camera. It all needs to fit in that one little room. So I could imagine. Yeah.
Also, well, this brings me to let's just sneak in a little masterclass moment here really quick. Something that we learned in interviewing. I think it was Liam Woodrum from Netflix's Geek Girl. He brought up the term dailies. And I thought that this just came to mind because, so for example, when they're filming Emily in Paris and the camera and the actors are all, tucked in this like tiny little set if they're filming in Emily's apartment, usually what they have is what they call the village or the studio village. And it's like back. It can't fit in her room, right? So it's a little bit set back. That's where all the producers and the directors sit. And then usually there's a monitor, and that's where the production team is watching everything happen. So they're watching it, in real time on a monitor, and they're directing from back there. So that made me think of the dailies. So for anybody that is interested in the entertainment industry or in a career in acting, or even on the production side, dailies is a term that is used to describe the quick how do I explain this? The quick cuts, the quick thrown together version of the scene that the production team will look at the end of the day. So say they filmed an entire sequence in Agence Grotto. Is that how you say it in Emily in Paris, right? The agency location. So if they did a bunch of scenes there and that's all they filmed all day, at the end of the day, the cameraman and the editor, the producer will work together really quickly to put together like a basic version of the sequences. And then that's when the producer and the director and everybody can review it. And it's called the dailies. And the purpose of that is you've got to check your footage. You've got to check and see how it looks. Could you imagine if they didn't do dailies? You spend all this time and money and energy filming a whole production, and then it's like, okay, hopefully we got what we needed. So the dailies are like the rough cuts of the scenes that the producer and the director and the team review every day at the end of the day to make sure that they got what they needed that day. And if they didn't, that's when you say, okay, tomorrow we got to refilm this scene, or tomorrow we got to get a new take of this, or maybe that outfit didn't look right, or whatever it could be. So that's a pretty interesting term right there, dailies.
So dailies is like when they did a whole scene, and then at the end of the day, like they're reviewing it. Is that what
Mm-hmm.
And then they decide like, oh, I want to keep this, I don't want to keep this.
Yeah, they're just making sure that they got it right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're making sure, okay, what if, like we said, continuity in A Walk to Remember, the dailies would have probably been a good place to catch, oh my gosh, Shane West's cut on his forehead wasn't there. We need to go back and refilm that tomorrow and make sure it's there, that sort of thing. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, do you want to chat about interviews that Young Entertainment has done lately? Because we've done some pretty cool ones.
Yeah, we just did one for that new Amazon movie or Prime Video movie called My Fault London, with Asha Banks and Matthew Broom, and they pay Noah and Nick. It's interesting because they redid like the Spanish version, which I have never seen. But like it's supposedly like the same movie, but like I'm pretty sure it's Spanish, and basically like they redid it like an American version or English, and it's like it's so good because there's like car chasing, there's like intense like chemistry between these two actors. So the interview we did, we really spoke a lot about the chemistry, about like how they created that chemistry, because it was like I was like, oh my god, I'm like, should I be watching this? Because it's like, like I feel like it's so intimate like between two people. They did like such an incredible job. So of course we asked them all this, and they spoke about an intimacy coordinator. It was just they were just really fun, to watch and chat with, and be able to, get that insight, and yeah, the interview was great.
But it was cute because they talk about how they found out they got the roles, and then pretty much right after that they went on holiday together, and they went to Tenerife, and I remember that because of that Ed Sheeran song, the Tenerife Sea. So straight away they said that was like a big thing. That's how they developed chemistry with each other, is they got to go on holiday, on vacation together, and really get to know each other. But yeah, their chemistry is so good and it's so cute. And I will say, chemistry between an actor and an actress or whoever it is, that is like such a big part of a movie or a film, or a TV series. The chemistry is what we keep watching for, whether it's even like a friendship chemistry. It's just what makes the relationships in these shows. And I will say too, we always can bring it back to a masterclass moment. I think a lot of the common denominators when we do these interviews and we ask them, okay, like, how did you build chemistry with your co-star? So we interviewed Sydney Taylor the other day. She's in Marked Men, Rule and Shaw with Chase Stokes. And we asked her, like, what was the key to developing chemistry with Chase Stokes? And she said, really just like going on walks together. She said that was a big thing that they did. She said something that I thought was funny too. She said sometimes they would go to the club. They were in another country. I forgot what country they filmed in.
Yeah.
But it seems like building chemistry with your co-star is really like getting coffee together, going on walks together, just spending time together and just getting to know each other and the personality of the other person and their nuances. And so, yeah, that was a great interview. 2 great interviews that we did with Sydney Taylor, and then both with Matthew Broom and Asha Banks.
Yeah. Sydney gave us a lot of insight. She really delved deep into her character and did a lot of like self reflection.
And for everybody listening who's like, ooh, I want to go listen to this full interview with any of these stars.
Please listen. Go listen to them. They're so good. I mean, every single one of them. They're so good.
So yeah, for anybody who's listening right now and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to watch an interview with any of the stars that we've mentioned. You guys, our interviews are so good. I know I'm like a little bit biased because I'm here, but we ask the best questions. Like, we really get behind the scenes information. They tell the funniest, like, what happened with your co-stars on set. They talk about how they develop chemistry with each other, all kinds of masterclass moments, like what is an intimacy coordinator, or how do you get in your character's head for the scene, or just like really interesting and fun stuff. So you can always go to our YouTube channel, which is Young Entertainment. Our handle is Young Ent Mag. And you can just look through, even like the main one on our homepage right now is the cast of Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. We have so many great interviews up though. Okay, so we love talking about behind the scenes. It's like our thing. So speaking of behind the scenes, I know that we don't talk a lot about reality TV, but there is one show that I feel like all of America or most of America is watching, which is Love is Blind. And I heard the most unhinged behind the scenes fact the other day, and I was like, oh, so on Love is Blind, I heard somebody say that when they give like the cast their phones, back to have in the scenes, and like when they're looking at their phones in the scenes, it's that the producers are texting them to like tell them what to say, or like plant seeds and like help produce the scene even further, and to cause more drama, or to direct the scene a different way. And I was like, that is crazy, because you always think like, how do they direct or produce reality TV? We know that they do. We know that it's like a full-time job. But is that not so crazy? I mean, it's pretty clever.
Yeah, I thought, that is pretty clever, actually. You say it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. They're looking at their phone. You think they're like scrolling, and then all of a sudden it's really the director or whoever is behind the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so another behind-the-scenes moment. We had a video go viral a couple weeks ago. It was the cutest video ever. It was a clip of Lindsay Lohan being interviewed with Jamie Lee Curtis. And Lindsay Lohan was just the cutest ever, because she was talking about playing both twins in Parent Trap. And then she was saying how even sometimes she forgets that she played both twins. But something unique that she said that stood out to me, and I know it got a little controversial in the comments because some people were like, I don't think she's saying that. But one thing that Lindsay mentioned is like different things that would kind of help her remember, like, was she Hallie, or was she Annie, or was she Annie pretending to be Hallie, or Hallie pretending to be Annie? Was that like she would have, her nails painted, and she would look and be like, oh, my nails are black, I'm Hallie right now, or whatever it was, and that would help her. And I thought that was the cutest little behind the scenes fact that she said that.
It's so funny because she said also in that interview, she said that she played 4 people, which she did, because she played Hallie playing Annie playing Hallie or something like that, or it was just like it's like crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine playing one person, let alone 4.
Oh my gosh, yes. And talk about the nostalgia. I remember I was 8 when that came out, and I remember it came out my birthday month, and my mom always says, like, I would spend all the money that I got from my birthday for them, like my grandma and, my aunts and uncles, on just going back to the theater over and over again to watch that movie, because I think like that's one of the best movies of all time. I think it always will be too.
It's so good. I mean, in your honor, a royal flush. And I was just like, okay. What are we doing here? And just like, you got to rewatch it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Or like that scene when she puts the black leather jacket on and Bad to the Bone is playing, and like, And then it goes into the prank sequence. Oh my gosh, it's too good. You know what would be? We need to make a pact right now. If we ever get to meet Lindsay Lohan, I think we should ask her the behind the scenes of the pranking sequences. Like that one in the cabin where it's like the honey and the whipped cream and the balloon exploding and the molasses. Like,
do you want to hear something
I want to know the
crazy?
behind the scenes.
Do you
Yes.
remember on Disney Channel, they used to like do some behind the scenes stuff. They used to like show you like during a commercial. And
Yeah.
I remember they said that the balloon, when it came down, they had put a pin in Lindsay Lohan's hair so that this way the balloon could pop. I mean, don't quote me, but I'm almost positive I remember this like as a kid, like in one of those like in between the show's commercials. I'm almost positive.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. We don't even need to interview her anymore because that was the coolest behind the scenes fact ever.
No, we'll still have to ask her about it. Getting wet, the shaving cream, just everything, the honey.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah, totally.
I love that. Okay, so another clip that's circulating right now, which talk about throwbacks and nostalgia, is Anne Hathaway's audition for Princess Diaries. And this is also a masterclass moment in itself, which, by the way, is what Young Entertainment is about. We are about masterclass moments and helping young people learn the behind the scenes ins and outs of the industry so that they can become actors and actresses too, because we believe that this information should be accessible and easily accessible, but also it's straight from our stars a lot of the times, which is so cool. We ask them these questions. How did you get started? What are your tips for crying on cue? What are your audition tips for auditioning at home? How do you get an agent? That sort of thing. So a masterclass moment here, Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway, something that's very unique about her story that she shared is that I remember she shared too, she was just like visiting LA for something. She was heading to, I believe it was New Zealand to film something. And she had like 1 or 2 days in LA and she wanted to audition for Princess Diaries. And if I'm remembering correctly, they said, "You're too old." And she said, "Please just let me audition. And then if I'm too old, I'm too old." They loved her audition so much that was, she only ever did one audition to book that role, which masterclass moment is unheard of, because normally it's audition and then it's a callback and then it's another callback and then it's a chem read and then it's a director session. And she booked this like iconic role that will go down in history and has gone down in history just off of one audition. And I feel like that's so inspiring too, because it shows you like when something's meant to be, it's meant to be. And also, even when someone tells you no the first time, like you're too old, if you really feel like in your gut it's for you, just say, "Hey, can I try anyway?" And then if it's not meant for me, it's not meant for me. But I love that she asked anyway. Because could you imagine if she didn't? If she would have just accepted that, Anne Hathaway would not have been Mia Thermopolis, and that would be crazy.
That would be crazy. I can't even imagine who else could play that role.
I know. And speaking of, Princess Diaries 3 is filming right now.
I know. It's so exciting.
It'll be coming out in 2026.
I'll be honest. I actually never saw the second one. I have to see it.
What?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
How are you watching Toy Story, all 4 of them over again, and you haven't seen Princess Diaries 2?
I know. It's on my list.
I love Princess Diaries 2. You need to watch it tonight. It's so good. It's on Disney Plus. I rewatch it often.
Okay, I'll have to watch the first and second one. I'll do like a back to back when I have time.
And how exciting that Leighton Meester is joining the cast of Nobody Wants This.
I know. I'm excited about it. I mean, we'll have a Veronica Mars, The OC, and Gossip Girl crossover event.
Do you want to hear something such a fun fact?
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was on Veronica Mars.
No.
Yes.
What?
I don't know if I've ever told you that.
No.
Yeah, I was just like schoolgirl number 3 or something like that. It was very laid back role, but
so
it was
cool.
It was so much fun. Like it was, I was young. I was probably like 11. And I remember it was just like so exciting. I could still remember what I wore. I had like this pink Hollister shirt on with like the little collar that was popular back then, and then like green cargo pants. And I remember like going to hair and makeup and being on set, and it was just so fun.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Did they dress you or you dressed yourself?
No, I think they dressed me.
Oh,
Or maybe, you know what? Let me think about this. I remember it was like it was a stylized scene because it was some sort of like flashback. And so I remember them, it was either they dressed us or they told us like what kind of things to bring, and then they picked out our outfits.
okay. That's still
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. It
I'm-
was epic.
I'm like,
I'll
I'm like,
never forget being on that set.
wow. Okay. There you go. A Young Entertainment exclusive.
Okay, so now that you know that I'm Veronica Mars, just superstar over here. I'm just kidding. That was such a fun chat. I'm trying to remember if there. Oh wait, I do have one other behind the scenes moment from that day. Do you remember? Let me find his name really quick. Okay, hold on. Remember That's So Raven?
Yeah.
Yes, in a heartbeat. Do you remember those guys? The bye home cooking. Remember that?
I don't. Sorry.
Hold on. Boys in Motion
Boys
from
in
That's So
Motion.
Raven. We are the boys in motion.
Okay. I mean, I'll have to look it up, but it sounds very familiar.
Okay, so on That's So Raven, there was like an episode where there was a boy band called Boys in Motion, and they come and they visit Raven's house, and then they always like break out into little songs. And so like one of them is like, yes, in a heartbeat. And then they put on this whole performance at her talent show at her school. Anyway, I just remember that when I was on set for that show for Veronica Mars, that one of the guys from Boys in Motion was on set that day. He was doing some role, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, because that was like back then when all that was happening. So
Totally.
anyway, fun stuff. Okay, so thank you guys so much for hanging out and listening to our pod. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and of course, subscribe on YouTube. Do all the things: follow, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We are your BFFs in young entertainment, and also don't be afraid to send us names of stars that you want us to interview. We will reach out and see if we can get interviews with them, and chances are that we can because Mordechai is the best. And also send us the questions that you want us to ask them, because we are here to provide the best interviews ever that feel really personal. So thank you guys so much for listening. And lastly, you can feel free to check out our How to Get an Agent guide in the bio on our Instagram if you are an aspiring actor and you want to know how to get an agent for free.
Thanks so much, guys, for listening. This has been so much fun. I hope you enjoyed. And this is the Young Entertainment Podcast.
Thanks for listening.